Brad, I want you to tell me a little bit about, people hear about personal development all the time or personal discipleship. What I want to talk about are, what are practical ways that leaders can mentor those under them as leaders?
Yeah. Well, I think mentoring is huge. And most of the time we think mentoring, we think it's somebody old who is sitting down with me over breakfast or a meal.
Wise sage.
Yeah, and we're walking through scripture together, and they're sort of passing on all this wisdom, which can be true. But to me, mentoring and developing those on your team, many times it just looks like you take them with you. And
Yes.
that means as practical as taking them with you. If you have a lunch meeting with a key partner, take somebody who's younger, who's on your team with you. If you have a trip to a city where you're going to spend time with people and meetings and trying to, whatever the goal is, take people with you. That's one way to really practically, if you're having an evening board meeting, take your team with you. Wherever you can take your team with you, that will start to, one, put them into those environments, but two, it just allows you to have more time with them. Some of the most memorable moments for me, the short season I had with John Maxwell of working with John, some of the best moments and the most memorable moments and the most teachable moments were the times we were on planes together. And we didn't have an agenda. There wasn't, we weren't in this formal meeting, but it was just that interaction time. And many times it did involve laughing.
I'm sure it did.
And it did involve like funny stuff. But I learned a lot. And one of the things I learned from even those times was enjoy the process. John had fun. And the journey with John was always memorable. I mean, I remember we would go to these cities and he would speak somewhere. And one of our goals was always that we would, before we left that city, we would find the best food expression of that city. So if we were in St. Louis, we were going to find the best barbecue in all of St. Louis before we left St. Louis. If we were in the Chicago, we were going to find the best pizza that Chicago could offer. But those kind of things, mentoring and developing people doesn't have to be this formal process that it feels like it's training and it's really module driven and it's hard and it's really edgy lines. Allow yourself to just be available to people around you on your team and pull them into the context of what you do as much as possible. One other example, when I was running Catalyst, I had an intern who was really aggressive and basically came in the first day and in many ways said, "I want your job."
That's always fun.
I love that. I love interns that are really aggressive. As a 22-year-old, just recently graduated. And so I had a call with, I don't even remember the speaker who I was talking to. We were talking about their upcoming involvement at a conference. And I brought this intern in to my office and said, "Hey, I want you to be a part of this conversation." Great. I didn't tell him who it was, didn't say anything about it. And so we get on the call, and again, I don't remember who it was, but it was somebody that this intern looked up to. And I said, "Hey, so-and-so, I've got Bill, the intern here, and Bill's actually going to just drive this conversation. Bill, jump in." Silence. And Bill quickly learned that, okay, this is what it looks like to have a conversation with somebody who is a well-established leader. And, now, were there other ways I could have mentored Bill the intern? And yes, but I think more than anything else, many times it just involves throwing them into the mix and allowing them to be part of your world and stir it up in a way that creates those opportunities for them to have those experiences when they're young or when they look at you and go, "Help me understand what you do." The best way to do that is take them with you.
I think it's important to understand that, transformation usually occurs in the context of a relationship.
Yeah.
So when I think back of the times, whether you're talking about pure discipleship or pure leadership being developed in me, it was in the context of a relationship. It was somebody, whether it was intentional or not, in some senses I'll never know whether they were intentionally pouring into me or drawing out or not. Certainly, it's better when it is intentional.
Yeah.
But it was an as you go, and sometimes you'll hear pastors talk about the Great Commission, as you go, in discipleship. And I really think that leadership development is advanced discipleship.
Yeah.
It's saying, okay, you understand the basics of what it is to be a believer and what everybody needs to know. Now let's contextualize that into your individual life. I'm not going to know how to do that unless we have a relationship with each other. And if I do, and if I invest in you, it's just amazing to see the transformation take place. And I know you can't do that with everybody, but it's not a reason not to do it. And especially sometimes we'll hear, well, nobody did that for me. I was just tossed into the deep end, and that's how I learned to swim.
Right.
And people celebrate that sometimes. I'm like,
yeah, as a badge of courage.
no.
And you're right. I mean, you can't take everyone with you, especially when the larger a team gets and the more levels of leadership there are, and more direct reports and more people that are involved in the process, the less you're going to be available and accessible.